Golf Pick'em Expert Picks. Brought to you by FootJoy.
The year's first major is in the books. Now we turn our attention to the final regular season event of 2020, the Wyndham Championship. I'm Will Gray, joined by Nick Menta. Nick, we're doing this weekly drill again with Golf Pick'em in the NBC Sports Predictor app. 7 head-to-head matchups, pick a tournament winner, and a winning score. We're going to start with a pair of European Ryder Cup veterans, Tommy Fleetwood, Sergio Garcia. Who's going to have a better week in Greensboro?
Sergio, a past champion at this event, who's never finished worse than 29th. He's currently 134th in the FedEx Cup standings. So that combination of success on this golf course and incentive to perform this week has me leaning Sergio.
Absolutely. I agree. And this is interesting that this is the second time in the last 3 years he has come to the Wyndham in need of getting into the top 125. He played really well through 54 holes 2 years ago, didn't quite do enough to make it to the playoffs, but he's the guy that has the motivation. Tommy Fleetwood, a disappointing 73 on Sunday at TPC Harding Park. I'm not sure he's going to be as enthused about his trip to Greensboro as will Sergio, who needs a big week to make the playoffs. Nick, Brooks Kepka couldn't quite get it done Sunday at TPC Harding Park. He gets another shot at it this week at the Wyndham. Who do you like in a matchup between him and Brendan Todd?
Well, it's not a major, so will Brooks Koepka care enough? I mean, that's a fair question at this rate when you compare his major record against his record in just normal PGA Tour events. Separately, this is the kind of golf course that really plays into the hands of someone like Brendan Todd. We just talked about Brandt Snedeker, Webb Simpson, and guys of that caliber with that game, that precision game, playing well at Sedgefield. I know he hasn't played well on this golf course in the past, but he hasn't played well on any golf course in the past. This is very much a new Brendan Todd, and I think this layout fits him perfectly.
New Brendan Todd. I still have some issues with his past performance just because this is a course where the foul ball is going to get you in trouble. He's missed 4 cuts out of his last 5 appearances, and I actually think that Brooks Koepka might play better this week than you would expect. He finished T6 here back in 2015. 7 of his 8 rounds at Sedgefield have gone for 68 or better. Even though it's not a bomber's course, I think there might be just enough on the line, given his Sunday disappointment, to get Brooks Koepka back on the leaderboard. All right, Nick, this is a rematch of the 2013 Wyndham playoff won by Patrick Reed over Jordan Spieth. Now fast forward 7 years later, they seem to be in different parts of their game. Who do you think has a better week?
Yeah, I'll take the guy who's actually continued playing this event. Reed has 4 straight top 25 finishes, including that win. Jordan was the runner-up in 2013, but he's finished T78 in his only other appearance. Nothing I saw from Spieth at Harding Park leads me to believe that a turnaround is coming anytime soon. Reed tied for 13th at the PGA. He's performed well on this golf course. I'm going to take Reed.
That was not just your run-of-the-mill T78 last year from Jordan Spieth. He was tied for 12th entering the 3rd round, shot a 77, the highest score of the entire week, to MDF. Just an absolute disaster, and it speaks to kind of the shambles where his game is in right now, where he can put 1 or 2 rounds together, can't quite string 4 in a row. We saw it last week at Harding Park. Patrick Reed is the much more consistent option this week. Nick, a matchup of 2 players who have both won this event in the past and both play pretty well at Sedgefield. Brandt Snedeker, Webb Simpson.
Yes, Will, but only one of these players has actually named a child Wyndham. Webb Simpson having a career year, and he's coming to an old haunt. He has 7 top 10 finishes and 11 starts at this event. He won in 2011. In the last 3 years, he's gone second, 3rd. I know Snedeker plays this golf course really well, just like Webb. But with those things mostly being equal, Simpson gets the edge on form. He's having a career year.
It's the age-old conundrum. Do you take the guy who named his kid after the title sponsor, or do you take the guy who shot 59 en route to victory 2 years ago? I'm with you. I'm leaning Webb. I haven't seen enough recently out of Brandt Snedeker. Webb remains one of the top players on tour on any course, but especially Sedgefield. Nick, a battle of 2 Englishmen, both of whom played pretty well last week at the PGA Championship. Paul Casey and Justin Rose. Who gets your pick?
Yeah, and 2 guys who had also been slumping in the run-up to those quality performances at Harding Park. Paul Casey's made 6 of 7 cuts at this event. He had a best finish of 3rd in 2015. I know Rose has 2 quality finishes, but they both came more than a decade ago. I'm going to give the edge to Casey, who's played here just a little bit more recently with success.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Justin Rose hasn't played this event since a T5 finish back in 2009. That's a long layoff for a player and a course, whereas Paul Casey has played here recently. He has played well, 12 straight rounds in the 60s at this venue. It seems to set up well and fit his eye. I think Paul Casey after a runner-up finish last week at Harding Park, could be in for a similar result this week. Nick, our final matchup includes two guys over the age of 50. Davis Love III and Jim Furyk. Who's going to have a better week at Sedgefield?
Love is, of course, a three-time winner here who did win this event over the age of 50, but he's made just one of his last 10 PGA Tour cuts. And while Furyk isn't exactly lighting it up himself on the PGA Tour, he did win his Champions Tour debut just a few weeks back. He's played this golf course well in his career with 9 top 25 finishes and 14 starts. It wouldn't shock me, Will, if he recorded another top 25 this week. I'll take Furyk.
I tend to agree. Listen, Davis Love 0 for 4 on making cuts since the return from the break. He's been doing the announcing stuff. Now he's focusing more on play. I need to see more form out of him, whereas Jim Furyk, as you mentioned, won a couple weeks ago on the Champions Tour. He finished T4 at this event just 2 years ago when he was his standing Ryder Cup captain. I think that he absolutely has the game to play well at Sedgefield, and would not surprise me if he contends. All right, Nick, those are our picks for the 7 head-to-head matchups. But as you know, in Golf Pick'em, we also need a tournament winner. So who is going to be the guy holding the trophy come Sunday afternoon?
For the second time since the restart, I'm taking Brendan Todd. Hopefully he doesn't withdraw this time like he did last time I picked him. I think this course fits his brand of ball striking perfectly. This is a guy who's taken 4 different 54-hole leads on tour this season. If there's a reservation I have, Will, it's with respect to his Sunday performances in Hartford and Memphis. But you can't win if you're not in position to do it through 3 rounds. I'm going to gamble with Todd.
I appreciate a good gamble every now and then. The Sunday scaries for him scare me off. But I'm going to go in a different direction. Not exactly going out on a limb here. I'm going to take Webb Simpson. You can, the naming the child after the title sponsor stuff, that we've covered that enough and have in recent years. But there's no denying that he plays really well at this course, even when he's not one of the best players in the world. 8 out of the last 10 years, he has finished T11 or better. 3 straight years, he's been in the top 3. Already has 2 wins this season, including 1 after the restart. All the stars are aligning for Webb Simpson to be a deserved favorite and eventually a tournament winner come Sunday. All right, so those are our picks. Remember, go into the NBC Sports Predictor app, make your selections for Golf Pick'em, go through the head-to-head matchups, give a tournament winner and a score. You could compete for $1,000 in guaranteed weekly prizes and $50,000 jackpots await for people who make a perfect score. So those are our thoughts and our picks. For Nick Menta, I'm Will Gray. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Golf Pick'em Expert Picks, brought to you by FootJoy.